The Dimp Digital Network presents Idle Game Chat.
Hello, Apps here from the Dimp Digital Network, and welcome to Idle Game Chat. We have a deep dive review of Doom Eternal, and if you are listening via the Idle Game Chat podcast feed, well done and welcome. And if you're listening via the Dimp Digital Network feed, well done and welcome. However, if you do go and subscribe to our Idle Game Chat feed, you would have already listened to this. At least 48 hours delay on the network. So if you're interested in video games, search for Idle Game Chat, subscribe to that, and then you'll be getting these episodes sooner. Obviously, we love to have you on both feeds, but we can't always cater and put everything up at the same time. So, little bonus for those of you that go out your way and go to Idle Game Chat and sub to that. There could even be some exclusive episodes dropping on there, little mini ones. So, don't be missing out on that if you love your video games. Anyway, it's Doom Eternal, one of the first big hitters of the year that's dropped, and I've called in some reinforcements. He's well, not reinforcements really. He's more of a pain in the backside, but he's played the game. He's one of the only guys actually got it. In fact, on release, it's Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here.
Is it really?
And I feel good.
I think you're lying because you'd rather be playing Animal Crossing. I absolutely know that.
Taken me out of my new life.
Yes. I had to bribe him with coins and iron nuggets just to have him do this podcast. So for those that are listening, I've had to really devastate my own island just to get Adkins to come on. It's a new form of payment that I've discovered in the digital crew. Yeah.
Real life currency's dead.
That's it. It is. You know what? The way things are going, it could be one day. So Animal Crossing might be all we've got. It'd be a solid state of affairs. I think that's due a lovely podcast at some point, isn't it? I think we give it a few more days because you've really kicked the shit out of that. And I have too. Been playing it pretty much since launch, so we're in a pretty good position to start giving full-blown opinions on that. But it's a right life zapper. Me, you, Salmon have been stuck on it, and then Hall's also ruined his life on it, so he's struggling to balance his work and family life now because Animal Crossing's come along. It's bloody addictive,
isn't it? It's bloody enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. Doom Eternal then.
One game it's not like.
No.
But it's quite funny because when these two were coming out, because they were both released on the same day.
Oh yeah, they were, wasn't they?
They had some like promotional artwork done. I think there were quite a lot of them were fan made, but some sort of crossover artwork. It was really funny.
Yeah.
We had like the Doom Slayer with Isabel, I think it is.
Yeah.
She's like got a shotgun and stuff. I hope there's some Doom sort of Easter eggs in the game that we've not come across yet.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it, if there was?
Yeah.
That would be incredible. But,
we will see. But I chose to get this day one. I actually chose this over Animal Crossing. I was toying, wasn't I? For and I think I pre-ordered it twice and cancelled it twice. Just because this is cards on the table. This is my first ever entry into the Animal Crossing world.
Yeah.
I didn't play any of the others. I was very late getting a 3DS. I never got like the one on that. Didn't even know what it was on the Wii. And and I missed out. I never owned a GameCube, so that's where it all started.
Yeah.
But I decided to go for Doom instead.
Yes. And it feels like, if you just look at the score, sitting at an 89 on Metacritic, so a strong fantasy gaming pick. People won't be sniffing at that.
Nope.
What is it, 4 years since the original release? Was it 2016?
2016, when the reboot.
That's it, the old reboot. Yeah. Bethesda Softworks, id Software, and you've, if I can remember correctly, you had hands-on at this at EGX.
Yes, yeah. On a master build. It was a master race experience. And this is the thing as well. This is my first because I bought the original on PC as I think it was just only a couple of years after I'd gone to full Master Race.
Yeah.
And then this came out, and I was like, cool, get that on PC. And had my rig still been capable, I probably would have decided to get this on PC. But alas, the old pup struggles to keep up these days, so I opted to go for the Xbox version.
Xbox One X.
Xbox One X, and which only in the last week before release, I did run through the original 2016 game on Xbox One as well for the Game Pass.
Oh, right. So that's the second run through, I take it.
Yeah, it's my second run through. Yeah, I completed it on PC. Probably back into 2016, so it's been a good 4 years since I played it. And yeah, just went through it again. Loved it again. I think it's a brilliant game. Although now playing this game, and we'll discuss why, but I think to its credit, it makes 2016 less of a game.
Cool.
It's one of those ones where
cracked on it.
It'd be hard to go back to. It's a bit like a FIFA. You play a new FIFA and then you go back and it's got mechanics that are not in it. You're like, oh, how did I do this?
Grappling meter, I imagine, is a bit of a game changer, and there's obviously going to be other bits and pieces. But I mean, before 202016, had you played the other old school Dooms that
I had?
You're
I'm
a
trying to
fan
think
of this
what
franchise.
Yeah, but I've been forgetting. I'm trying to remember what I played first. Either I played Doom first on a PC or Duke Nukem.
Okay,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember a very vague memory of when I was younger on a PC. It would have been a fucking filthy old Windows 98 or whatever.
Yeah.
Playing Doom, and just I must have had it on like a Mega Drive or Nintendo, something like that. So that would have been my entry. I don't think I got any of the others like Doom 2 or any of the other DLC ones. And then when I got an original Xbox, the OG Xbox, I got Doom 3 on that.
Yes.
And played through a little bit of that, and I remember being too scared to play it. That
was quite a departure, wasn't it?
It was.
It wasn't as action-paced. It's actually not, I wouldn't say out-and-out survival horror, but a bit more methodical and trying to shit you up a little bit. Yeah,
it definitely had like jump scares and... it definitely had a survival horror, and I remember it shitting me up when that first came out. So I think I might have babied that a bit. I've since gone... I remember I bought that on PC as well when I turned to the master side.
Yeah.
The master side.
The master side. That's a better name.
Master race. Because they released a BFG edition.
Right.
Which included Doom 3 and then it included Doom 1 and 2 and all the DLC as well. So it's like, cool, get me that. So yeah, I've got a rich history with the Doom franchise. You know, they called it the creator of the FPS. Didn't they? The one that put it on the map.
Yeah, you got Wolfenstein, you got Doom, and probably to a lesser extent Quake. Like those three coming out in like the mid to early 90s. I think Wolfenstein was technically the first, but then Doom it always feels like Doom was the one that everyone was like, whoa, now this is like big boy shit going on. But yeah, and to see it come back in 2016, I think raised a few eyebrows. But the more I think about it, the more I think there should be plenty of other franchises doing that. Metal Gear Solid and just rebooting themselves so that we can fucking play at them again. And it was another critical darling, really. I really enjoyed playing through that, and it had a bit more bollocks about it from what I remember. It had a bit more exploration, the Metroidvania type bits where you could, you upgrade and then you could get into different parts of the map and go back through and get collectibles and all this sort of stuff. I guess my first question is is that part of the game retained in Doom Eternal, or are they depart into more of an action focus? I mean, it had action the last one, but has it gone even more to that direction, or is it around the same sort of structure as what we had before?
It's around the same sort of structure. There is less sort of... There's not really many... There's probably one level that's got a few puzzles, but I wouldn't call it... They're not strong puzzles or anything like that. The biggest thing in this game is they have departed away from that sort of, you have to go and get this key to get to this room, which was a big thing in the reboot. In this one, their biggest focus is more on the action, but it's also on this new traversal. the levels. There's more verticality to this game.
I'm hearing there's platforming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's weird because you've got things you can climb. You've got vaults that vault you up. You can climb up walls. Yeah. You've got this chain thing. So it's added traversal and verticality to the game, which is strange for an FPS, but it really does work well. So that's definitely their focus on this one. And I'd say this one has more of a story as well. The last one, it was a bit of a chuck away story.
There's a funny bit in the first one, I remember. It's at the very beginning when you get out of that bed and I can't remember who it is. Whoever's talking to you through the monitors is like trying to explain what's going on. They're like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then Doom Guy just gets annoyed, grabs the screen and throws it off. And it's like, right, let's just get on with this and start ripping heads off.
Yeah, that's wicked. It still has that sort of dark sense of humour in this game. There's some brilliant scenes, like there's quite a few sort of cutscenes in this. You get they're not long, but there's quite a few, and some real funny, them sort of dark toned cutscene through that. But it's definitely a more story focus. There's actual characters in here. I suppose you only really had 3 in the last game. Obviously your main Doomslayer and then the sort of 2 other guys. There's a few in here that make it a bit more interesting, and the Doomslayer himself, they sort of make him more of an actual character. You sort of see him for a bit with his helmet off and stuff, sort of glancing at his face. You can see his face through the helmet in certain cutscenes and stuff. There's some good little Easter eggs in there for long-time fans that obviously I won't spoil, but if you are a fan of the franchise, do look out for them. And there was some certain questions that are answered that have been mulling over people, so keep that in mind.
What, in terms of like the lore and when it fits in and all that? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's very good.
I like the sound of that because it was a little bit up in the air on the last one. I remember there was like cryptic messages and all these fan theories. It'd be good if they played into that a little bit more. Interesting. Well, that's got me excited. Am I right in saying this one is supposedly set on Earth for parts of it, or at least that is the setting of it? The hell and doom and all the demons have got onto Earth and started overrunning it. Is that a correct assumption? Does that offer any? Because I remember the first game, it was obviously Mars, and then there's a couple of other locations, but it was generally set on Mars, I think was the planet. But does that offer any interesting locations, the fact that it is on Earth, or is everything so overrun with shit that actually it ain't?
It's a bit of both. It is literally one
Big
level.
Ben in it? That's the question.
No, you ain't getting anything like that. It is only one level that's based on Earth, and you are sort of darting about. I think it's supposed to be set in Los Angeles, but it's so overrun with shit. But that is one thing, this game, that my jaw dropped as soon as I started playing this. The environments in this game are incredible. Cool. Like people say they do those slow E3 pans where they just slowly look. I was doing that on pretty much every level. They just look so good, and there's so much going on in the background that it sort of distracts you from the action of the game. There's not many times where you can pause and have a look at the thing, but I find myself clearing out this sort of room of demons and then sort of think, right, I've got a breather, and just think, let's have a little look. Cool, look at that. But so it is. It's cool that it starts off. I think it's the first level. You start off back on Earth. And then for the rest of the game, you're sort of hopping from place to place. But the locales you go to and the environments are incredibly jaw dropping, I must say.
Interesting. What about the enemies in terms of how they look and the graphic and the art style there? I remember it being good from 2016. And then also, one of the key things is that performance, because in a blisteringly quick game like Doom, and I'm assuming Doom Eternal, frame rates are critical. One of the few games where they are critical. So does it deliver on the Xbox One X in that sense? And I'm assuming there's some sort of Xbox One X enhancement patch that you've been playing it on as well. So it looks. I remember, like you say, 2016 was a superb looking game.
Doom Eternal amps that up another. It's incredible. It's by far the best looking first person shooter I think I've played in a long time.
Wow.
They really have id Software. Is it id Software or id Tech? That the engine that they've used, it looks like they've sort of maxed that out to as much as they can now. I had this running on Xbox One X, which, thanks to the DF boys, Digital Foundry, shout out. It was just sub 4K. I think they ended up having it. It's just above the 1800p mark.
You ain't gonna notice.
No,
you ain't noticing that.
I'm happy to announce that there was absolute solid 60 throughout. I'd say about 97% of the campaign.
Yeah.
It was just towards the latter part of the game where, honestly, I'm surprised the game didn't crash with the amount of sort of enemies at once that were sent towards you. It was just a cacophony of fucking demons and blood and guts, and that you could just tell when you started firing off rocket launchers and stuff that you could see the frame rate take a little hit now and again.
Yeah.
But like I say, a good solid 97% of that game, it was a solid 60, which I did shit myself thinking that, because the first game was 60 on Xbox, and I thought it needs to be. That's why I was scared it was going to be in a 30 FPS jobby on the first game, so I went PC. And then this, when I saw how good it looked, I thought, how are they going to keep this at 60? But that's the thing, that PC port, you could run that on a potato. It's one of the best engines to do, and they've done it again.
Yeah.
There's no hiccups in that. So it's one of the best first-person shooting looking games, and runs like a fucking dream. So they've smashed it on that side as well.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be a concern when you sit there with the Xbox One X and you're playing it on the world's most powerful console, as Big Phil keeps telling us. You sit there and think, well, I shouldn't be concerned about frame rates, but as we've seen with the release of Resident Evil 3, that's the worst performing console because it's trying to hit native 4K or close to 4K, and it's dropping frames. So
that's a concern.
The DF boys again are saying get that on PlayStation. And
I wonder, do you reckon that's Xbox is doing? They're saying, look, you've got to target this 4K. We've told all our fans that it's true 4K.
Well, if that's them doing it, then Phil needs to have a long hard look at himself in the mirror. He's got time on his hands now, so he needs to really have a look at himself and say, what am I doing? Because you said the demo you played was a bit choppy.
Yeah, it was absolute fucking horrific. Yeah, I thought it was 30 FPS at first, and then went until I downloaded the PlayStation one and realised it was supposed to be 60, but it just tanked so much. Yeah. And I thought, and I watched the video from Digital Foundry, and they said, it should be alright. They should patch this by the release. And then I watched another one for the release of the new game that come out tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to this. And they've said that it's still the same performance in the day one patch. It's still toot. So
fucking prats.
Yeah, they've opted for this higher frame resolution, but costing them, and a big cost as well in my eyes.
Just give people the fucking option, like nearly every other game these days, and it just cuts out the hassle, then, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you got a choice. Anyway, we haven't got a problem with Doom. Doom is an absolute butter.
Yeah, absolute butter and smooth, that one.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there's a lot of focus on action. Have they actually cut back on the exploration side in terms of secrets and little nooks and crannies, or is that all just still there? And
you could more and enhanced now. There's more things to collect. There's a lot of, which is another thing that annoyed me. It's one thing that annoyed me. Sorry, there's not much that annoyed me on this. Do you remember in the first game you'd come across a new enemy and then you'd get a bit of lore on that character or the enemy in the world? Well,
yes.
They've changed that to now that's become a collectible, so you have to find out. So if you want to know about something like a new enemy type, you have to go into this thing, go into the world and find it as a collectible.
Right.
But there's more things to collect here. Now, there's one thing that Doom's never had, and I think it's really good, is you now have your own hub world. So, like, in between levels, you have that. It's called the Doom Tower, I think it was called. The Doomslayer Tower, something like that. And it's just like, it's like a floating palace type thing. But you have like all these. It's one of the coolest things ever. He's got his own office, and there are just so many Easter eggs in there. I'll let you go in there and look. I won't say anything, but it's incredible. But throughout this palace, you have like there'll be like frames on the wall with nothing in it, and you think, what the bloody hell is that? So, and each level will have like a list of collectibles that you can collect. And from memory, you've got, so you have like the old school songs. So you have like the Doom songs from the original, like the 8-bit ones, Doom 2, Doom 3. There's Quake songs on there.
Lovely.
Things like that. Then there's cheat codes that you collect, like these little floppy disks.
Yeah.
And you can actually replay the levels, but with these cheat codes on.
Right. What sort of cheat codes can you put on?
So you're getting like infinite ammo, God mode, all maxed out. God mode? Yeah.
My goodness. Not on a console. That's just not allowed, surely. No console commands.
Pretty good. Then they bring back the... do you remember you could get like the little plushy dolls of what the Doomplay was? But this time it's all like the enemies. It's all different ones, but it's really cool. What else can you collect? Then there's these lore pages that sort of give you more information. And then there's these things called, I forget what they're called now, Sentinel. I think they're called Sentinel things or something. They're basically these like little like battery pack type things that you have all these. You can unlock different suits throughout the game. That was something. This blends into the multiplayer, which unfortunately I didn't play. So it's not really my bag, but you have, it's a bit like like Gears of War, where you at the beginning you have like your character and you can change his skin and change his stance, his icon, and that you have like a profile. Well, that blends into this game, but you can, if you change your character what he looks like, that's what he'll look like in game in the campaign as well.
All right, so you can actually customise Doom Guy.
Change the colour of him.
So in the cutscenes, it will look like that.
Yeah, in the cutscenes and everything. Because I wondered what had happened. Because with the game, I got a pre-order bonus, and it was him I've got like a zombie version of him. And then when the cutscene come on, I was like, zombified, and I thought it was part of the story. I was like, fucking hell, what's happened? I didn't realise. I was like, oh shit, it's actually in the cutscenes. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So so throughout this palace thing that you're walking around your hub world, you've got like these where you put these battery pack type things, and that unlocks like different suits and the perks and stuff. Gotcha. So that's another collectible that you've got to look out for. Can't think of anything else more. There's I can't remember if I think you had them in the first game, but they might have been called something else. Oh yeah, they were called runes in the first game, weren't they?
That we had to go on like a little challenge level and
that's it, yeah.
Do something very specific, and then you get like a power or an enhancement.
That's it. Well, they've sort of streamlined this a bit, but these are now called Slayer Gates, and they are the most intense fun that you ever. There's a total of 6, and if you complete all 6, you unlock a special prize, which I won't mention. Yeah. But yeah, so these are like some of the most intense. But they've taken away the sort of modifiers now. Yes. They're just like sort of arenas, like sort of just levels, just small pat level, but they just chuck the absurd amount of enemies against you.
Is there a time limit on them, or is it just survive and get through it?
I think it's just survive, because throughout the game you have this one up how many lives you got, so you can collect them. I think they had that in the first game as well, didn't they? And yeah, so you just got to collect as many as you can and then try and get through these. But you have to find the key to unlock this Slayer Gate. So that's another collectible. And I think, like I say, I think there's about six of these gates, and you have to find the keys to unlock them.
So these like Slayer Gates marked on a map somewhere, so that if you see the gate, you can say, right, I need to get a key for that, and I know where to come back to. So it tracks everything that you've seen and. That's right, yeah. And you can go back into it because you have this hub world after each mission. You tend to go back. Certainly after the game, it's more for that as well. But if you did, you think, right, I want 100% that. Because like the first couple of levels, I think I got like 99% on stuff. I was like, fuck's sake. So I missed.
If you go back and you can, like, it still saves, so everything else will be already collected, and you've just got this one. But some of them are like some of the collectibles, because of this added traversal and verticality that's in it. There's some of the stuff's just in the most absurd places you'd never find.
And can you not get some stuff until you've got all the upgrades or any abilities, or do you think from moment one?
I think you're right. Yeah, because you would get things like that. There's a shotgun that has like a claw on it, so there'll be certain things you can't get to until you unlock that sort of perk. Yeah,
I see.
It's not as, I wouldn't say it's as predominant as like a, what's it called, like a Metroidvania. It's not as bad as that, but there certainly is things that you wouldn't be able to get to without the perks.
No.
Yeah, so that's part of the collecting thing. They still have that. It still has like your sort of suit upgrades and your gun modifiers. That's still all in there, but again, it's a bit more streamlined. Like I say, they took away the rune gates. Do have things that are runes, but there's about 9, I think, and you can only have 3 active at one time.
Are they like modifiers of sorts?
Modifiers, yeah. That's it. Yeah, they'll be things like, I remember the 3 I had. It was like you could do your glory kills from further away.
Oh, I see. So you can snatch them from further away. Yeah.
Or like collect like consumables, like your health and ammo and armor. That would come to you further away. You'd like magnet to them.
I see.
Little things like that. But yeah, that kept it interesting.
Nice. There's quite a lot to be getting on with without. We haven't even spoken about the base combat yet.
Yeah, I've got to say, at first it did sort of seem quite overwhelming. There was so much new stuff. Like you're just going through the first level, and there was sort of this new mechanic introduced. I was like, "Fucking hell, how am I supposed to remember this?"
Yeah.
But it does sort of progressively introduce these bits, and you are sort of like, right, so I can implement that. But by the end, once you've sort of beefed yourself up and you've learned everything, you have really got to train that brain to remember everything, to get out of a lot of shit. Because when you're getting fucking hammered by 14,000 demons, you're like, right, how am I getting out of this? Oh, right, I've got this mechanic, I ain't use that again. So it's sort of, it rewards you for keeping up with it, but at the same time, it's sort of, you've got, it's sort of a bit of push and pull from both ways. You've got to sort of keep up with it, and it keeps up with you, type thing.
Yeah. Interesting. So it sounds like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned several times that it just seems to just pour enemies on top of you.
Oh, it's really.
I mean, what's that all? Well, how's that to experience? Because I remember it got pretty frantic in 2016, but it sounds like they've took it up a level. That
will seem like a fucking breeze compared to this. It's more towards the latter half of the game, I'd say. It's like I say, it was quite. I think I played it on like the normal difficulty. I wish I'd played it on hard now. Seems to be what a lot of people are playing it on, but. Having said that, I still died a fuck ton of things. I think that would have stressed me out playing it on ultraviolet. I think that's called. So you got something. I can't remember what, friendly or something. The easy. Then mine's called hurt you plenty. Then you've got ultraviolet, and then violent. It's fucking ridiculously hard. Yeah. But it's more towards the back half of the game. But yeah, it's not like wave based, but it's more sort of arena based. Like you'll go into a room and then all of a sudden the fucking heavy metal kicks in, which is a whole other section we've got to talk about after the music again. But yeah, that'll do, like all this heavy metal start kicking in, you're like, right, and then it is just this fucking wave of it's sort of fodder comes along. It's clever how they do it, because they do have these certain enemy types. They're actually called fodder. Because they're the little shitty zombies. I think you can remember them from the first time.
Yeah, you can even though twice, then you can just punch them and then.
That's it. You have some of them, but even them are little fuckers now, because they give some of them guns and flamethrowers and stuff. So you're like, fucking hell, and you can't, like, they can take a few hits before they go down now, but you sort of tend to use them for them glory kills, which sort of will boost your ammo and stuff. And you've really got to utilise things like your chainsaw as well this year. Last time, that was really only to get you out of a spot of bother. You didn't really use that for much. This, you're running out of ammo so much that you need to be using that chainsaw at least sort of every minute.
So it's, I guess it's sort of like a balance between, glory killing someone to get health, which I think it does,
That's
and then chainsaw them to get the ammo. So you've got to constantly keep those two topped up. Does the chainsaw still have fuel that you've got to keep an eye on?
Yes, it does. It seems to it goes down to 1 bar, so you can always use it but you can't use it on the bigger enemies unless it's filled up. The fodder's basically unlimited. So you can get your ammo, but then for the big fucks, you can't.
Anything. No.
And then you also have, I don't know if you've seen it in the trailers, you have like he's very like Predator. You now have this Predator knife on your wrist, so you can slash. Yes. It basically comes into, that's only used on the glory kills really, but you also have his like little cannon beam that he has, Predator, but that's used as a flamethrower. And you can set enemies on fire, and then they will produce armor as well. So you've got those 3 things to think of whilst you're doing. You've also got this new dash maneuver, which is, like I was saying earlier, playing that game now, going back to 2016 and not being able to dash.
Sickener.
It's going to be an absolute heartbreaker, that is. And then, that flamethrower later on, you equip an ice grenade, and that gets you out of the spot, brother. So, and then that turns into a frag. So you've got to remember to dash, to shoot, to glory kill, to set them on fire, to freeze them, to use your chainsaw.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it really is just a cacophony of fucking madness, and your brain's got to go, right, there's certain ways to kill. They keep introducing pretty much every level a new enemy type.
Yeah.
There's 2 absolute fuck stains that I won't spoil, but you'll know as soon as you come across them that there's certain ways that you have to kill them. So you'll go through a room and you think, oh yeah, these are all good, I can get there, just got to chase this cunt, and then boom, this one will come through and you're like, for fuck's sake. And then another fucking one will come and you're like, for fuck's sake. So yeah, it's a wicked fucking challenge. It's balls to the wall again.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just you're constantly learning throughout the game, and it's constantly changing, and you change with it, and it's just about don't stop. You cannot stop and shoot. That does not work in this game.
No,
you're dead.
Get your arsehole ripped out. What do you think your favourite new ability or weapon or feature they've added to the gameplay side of things? Because the one thing they seem to be pushing in the trailers was this grappling or this meat hook of sorts.
Yeah.
You can swing off things and bits like that. But is that a bigger deal as they've made out, or is there other?
It's absolutely devastating. No, it's devastating, that gun. It's just it's the, I think it's the original the combat shotgun. I think it was.
Right.
It was the shotgun that was in the first game, but it now has this meat hook in it that you can fire at an enemy. And it will stick to them, and you just fly towards it. But you can use that to fly above anyone. You can then set the chain on fire, so it will set the enemy on fire as well once you unlock like mods and stuff. And that probably is the new. Most of the guns from the first game are in there. I don't think there are any other additional things. Like I say, because you have this new sort of Predator. A bit like laser beam type thing. That it's not laser beam, but that's what Predator uses it as. You have that, and the blades. That is the glory kills in this game are just insane. How the people that made these up are sick fucks.
I've been seeing quite a few videos, and it seems like there's loads of different variations on the glory kills depending on what angle you come at, where they're positioned, and there's you won't see the same one just over and over again. There's several for each enemy type that swap around depending on how you do it.
Yeah, wherever if you're facing his arm, you'll snap his arm in half and stick the bone out and shove it in his eye. If you're down below, like if you crouch or something, I don't think you can crouch, but if you slide along or whatever, then you'll grab his leg, twist it behind his head. Or if you jump above, you smash his head down so it goes inside his body and pull out eyes and feed into them. There's just so many, but they look so good. They're it's incredible what they've done.
Jubbly.
Yeah. It's the perfect sequel in terms of progressing what they done with the first game.
Yeah.
Everything, every part of the game has been improved, and the music. There are some people complaining that like they don't like heavy metal music.
Don't play fucking Doom then.
Exactly. But it's the same guy that did it before. Mick something. Can't remember his bloody name. Mick. What's his fucking name?
Jagger.
Mick Jagger. Is it Mick Jagger? No. What is his fucking name? No, that's Rolling Stones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mick Doom. What's Mick Doom? Mick Gordon. That's it.
Mick Gordon. Two first names, can't trust him.
No, exactly. So he'd done the first one, and there's a few songs from the original one that he sort of rearranged, but again, it's this fucking evil metal swamp that I fucking love it. It's awesome, the music, and it just fits this type of game so well. No, it's an all-round fucking good package.
How long do you reckon it is, roughly?
So,
how long do you spent?
This was, my thing was about the lore.
Hot topic
was that the lore was a pain. I had to go and find that to find out about the information. I didn't get that handed to me on a platter. That's the biggest fault in the game. The second biggest thing is with Xbox is they seem to trash the idea of giving you stats. So normally when you get these Xbox games, you it give you a sort of a stat rundown of how many glory kills or how many fucking, I don't know, levels you've done. And this, they've decided to fucking zero that out. You don't get nothing. And it didn't have no in-game counter, so I'd have no idea how long I played it for. I'm guessing it was somewhere... I did seem to smash through it quite quick, to be fair. So I'm guessing around between the sort of 10 to 13 hour, I think. Like I say, I need to go back and do some more of these Slayer gates because I only done about 3 of them. I've still got another 3 to go. And like I say, at the end of each level, you get like a sort of stat report. It'll tell you how many. Because there's even certain encounters you can miss. Like these, like I say, you go into a room and there's enemies. You can miss that. So, so you can miss like if you don't find this secret part of a level, you'll miss actually one of these sort of little rooms full of enemies. So it gives you this little sort of report at the end of how many I think it's called that's called
Doom Report.
Yeah, Doom Report. I can't remember what the thing is now, but it's the like enemies found, then it's the collectibles and something else I can't remember, but yeah, basically, so in the menu, and it's when you can choose what level to go to, you can see, right, okay, so I'm missing one toy, one cheat code I've got to find, and one of these Sentinel power pack things I've got to get. So you can go back in and search through the level. There is a way, once you get to the end of each level as well, I noticed it kept unlocking fast travel points for then if you do want to go back in, you haven't got to go through the whole level again.
Okay.
But I did try and do that, and it couldn't seem to work for me, so I don't know how. I'm going to have to Google it and figure out how to work with it. But yeah, it was quite a good idea.
Yeah, because imagine some of the encounters aren't, especially towards the back end, they're going to be quite difficult.
Yeah.
If you only need to get into a certain area, you don't want to be fucking grinding away through that, trying to get past stuff. And
these levels, I like to say, because of the added traversal you got on them now, you've got fucking added bloody... there's so much you can do, like, because that's what I think a lot of people complained about the first game was that there was not enough of variety in the game. You sort of, it was all set in that one facility on Mars, and the levels all look the same. You're just going from point A to point B. Whereas this time now you can miss everything. There's like bits you can miss, and you've got optional ways to get around a certain objective and stuff. So yeah, it's fucking epic on the scale, but yeah, there's quite a lot to go through. It's annoying that some stuff can get missed.
Yeah, but at least it sounds like they've given you the ability to go back and correct that.
That's it, yeah. That's why I think they've stuck with that sort of 13-hour mark game, which, to be fair, I think for this sort of balls-to-the-wall action is a good slot. I don't think you're going to be wanting to fucking smash out a 30-hour campaign.
You're bloody knackered, wouldn't you?
Yeah. My fucking hands were hurting on some of these things just because of how fucking fast you're going and how just literally pressing the button every 5 seconds. Shoot, fucking grenade, and fucking
when you
hooks
want one of
up
those
your
Xbox Elite controllers.
Yeah, just let it do it for you.
Yeah.
Turbo mode.
Yeah, exactly. What's the controls like? It sounds like there's an awful lot going on in terms of what you can do, what you need to do. Is it a bit too much sometimes, or actually they've mapped it to a decent spec?
They've mapped it pretty good. It's basically everything you'd think it would be. But because there's so many varieties, like I say, you've got that flamethrower that can turn into a frag grenade and a ice bomb. You've got to switch those out on the D-pad.
Right, I see.
As well as each gun has a different mod. So you get 2 mods for each. So you have like I think it was on the first games where you have like a rifle that you can have like grenade launchers on it or a tactical scope. So you have to. Is that
something you switch between, or is it?
You can. That's not really. You can switch on the fly with that, and again, that's tied to the D-pad, but you don't need to. That's not really necessary to get through. Whereas the other stuff is, but other than that, so you've just got to remember to sort of switch between your grenades and stuff, which can be a bit of a botherance on the go when you fucking got enemies up your arse and you're trying to remember to fucking swipe and double jump and then get your meat hook out. But everything else is tied to the face buttons and your shoulder buttons, so you're pretty good. You don't. There's no like zoom in. You don't have to sort of look down the barrel type thing.
No snipping required.
Nah, that's it. Yeah. So it is pretty. It's pretty. It's well done. It's well mapped, but it's just that you've got to get that Rodney remembering.
Yeah, that's it. It needs to be
not Rodney, isn't it?
Sure, one. You can have Rodney. I've got Ronnie. You've got Rodney.
I've got Rodney. You got to get Rodney. Fucking.
It all makes sense now. Rodney's up there.
Rodders. You got to get Rodney remembering all of it. So yeah, face button. Sorry, yeah. Now controller mapping is good, but it's just remembering to do everything on the fly.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, last couple of things. Enemy types. Obviously, I don't want you to spoil the final boss or anything like that, but I mean, have they added a decent plethora of new enemies to take on and new tactics, or have they kind of left it the status quo?
No, there's a bit of a mix. They've sort of enhanced because now every character has sort of like you shoot bits off of them, so you've got the same sort of enemies that are in the old game, but. When you now shoot them, bits will fly off of them.
Like armor, or
it's almost like armor, but it's just like their flesh. But they have sort of 2 layers to them. So you get these. Do you remember the big floating like balls, demon balls? I forget what they're called now.
Big balls.
Well, there's ones like that. Big balls. There's ones that look like something out fucking Stranger Things. Their mouth opens all like that sort of fucking tentacle shit. Or if you like shoot them, their fucking mouth will fly off, and then there's another mouth underneath. It'd be like that. So yeah, it's enhanced versions of what was in the game originally, and now they're like enhanced, and then there's new enemies types now. The boss that was in the first game, that's now a common enemy.
Right, lovely.
You have to deal with them. And then, there's some added ones. You would have seen, possibly from trailers, the Marauder, which is he looks like the Doomslayer, like a demon version, carrying an axe. I don't know if you can remember it. That's a new enemy type, and that is by far the most biggest cunt in the game. Having to deal with him. And there's a new one as well. That's almost like a sort of snake man, and he slithers along the floor and just gets up in your grill. But other than that, I think only those 2. And the boss thing. That's the thing. I think that's pretty much it. So you've got a few different new ones. There's a few more varieties, like the Foddy. Like I said earlier, you get different variations. They've got guns and they can rile you up. There's soldiers. And then you've got the big cunts as well. There's a couple more that I won't spoil, but there's a handful, not a lot, but a handful. Enough. But like I say, there's a lot of variation of them that they all just come out of fucking nowhere, and you're like, right, and then they start to change it up where you can only kill ones with certain stuff, and it does become like a fucking ball ache in the end. But it's a good happy ball ache, but. I've got to say, if you're not knackered by the end of the game on the last couple of levels, if you're still chilled at the end of that, then I'll tip my hat to you, because
you're fit as a fiddle.
Yeah, I know that it's a fucking intense game that sort of, it takes a lot from you. And it's incredible. It's incredible.
Knocked a couple of years off the port.
Yeah, it really has. I'm stressed out already, and now I had to deal with that.
How? This is a hard question to sort of quantify, but how difficult is the game on the? I mean, you played it on like the medium level. How difficult would you say it is?
Well, it does seem to have this sort of gate, I felt, because like I say, my friend Dan Clark, who he played at the same time as me, and he started it on that hard difficulty. I think he did finish it on that, to be fair, but I remember talking to him and he was saying about it and said, he was finding it quite tough from the get-go. And I remember thinking, I think I went at least about 3 or 4 levels and I didn't even die. And I was thinking, I'm finding this too easy. Yeah. So I wanted to switch up to a thing, but I wasn't sure if I could switch up to, or if it was going to just like delete everything and had to start from the beginning again. Yeah. So I thought, oh, fuck it. But yeah, so like I say, so probably for like the first half of the game, it's easy going. Like I said, I didn't die, but I had just played through the first game, so I did have that quick in my game still. Yeah. But yeah, then it sort of just I started getting harder and harder. Like I think the more they introduce the new enemy types and the more they throw at you, and like I say, you've just got to keep remembering to get out of situations and keep replenishing and your health and your armor and your ammo.
Yeah.
And I did find the sort of back half of the game quite hard. I did a few times. I sort of thought, fucking hell, I died quite a bit, and I was like, bloody hell, it's like playing fucking Bloodborne here. Yeah, it's stuff with this. And it's just certain sections where these fuckers would come out, and like I say, those Marauder bastards, they put me down quite a lot of times. There was almost a broken controller on a couple of them. So. Yeah, I'd be interested to give it a go on that harder difficulty, but I think that would end up making the whole game a bit like that. So yeah, I'd say the difficulty has increased myself. It's not something I don't think like the average gamer would get through, but I definitely think that they would have a struggle. Definitely.
Yeah, fair enough. Have you got any other business you'd like to raise before we go into the formalities and give Doom Eternal its official grading?
Grading. No, there's a couple of missed opportunities I felt in the game. I don't know if they're leaving it open for DLC. It's not really their sort of thing to do that, or possible sequel down the line. There were some key things that looked like in the game, in some of the backdrops, and I thought, that would definitely become a thing later in the game, and it never did. It's hard to discuss this without spoiling, but yeah, so there's a couple of mythology, but I don't. Other than that, just more to that. I haven't really discussed this home world much. Just
that sounds really interesting.
It's weird. Like it's almost a bit like almost like a bit of a Borderlands, where you go back to your sort of home world. You can run around it and go to different things. You've not got like shops or anything on here, but like I say, it's more based on collectibles. You can view your collectibles that you found, and there's these unlockables. There's even secrets in there that I found out that I wouldn't have found unless I've happened to stumble on a YouTube video. But yeah, it just seems really weird to have it in a Doom game where you sort of go back, and it's just, again, it's sort of pushing that character that this Doom Slayer is more of a character than just the protagonist in the first game. Sort of makes him a bit more human, and like I say, there's some good lore that you find out in the game. But I think we've pretty much gone over everything, glory kills wise, combat, music. It just is just all round fucking sequel. Like what you'd expect out of a sequel. Everything is just amped up. Everything's better. Everything's good. I feel sorry for 2016 Doom, because I think if I went back now, I'd find it just lacking. I'd be like, inferior.
That's a sign of a good sequel. So I think they've obviously done a good job, and to have this in what's probably going to be the last year of the consoles, although who knows with COVID-19 and whatnot. That's a good place to be for the Doom series. You sort of put a bow on this generation, say, right, here's that one, and then we'll see what they do in the next steps. But what's your closing thoughts, and then your official gleading for Doom Eternal, the Bethesda publishers who seem to get crapped on for their own in-house stuff, but when they give it to someone like id, they knock it out of the park with good games, seemingly.
I think Doom Eternal is a fucking brilliant masterpiece of a first-person shooter. It's the perfect sequel. I'd even go as far as to say a decent enough starting point. I think if you were looking for a first-person shooter game to play, someone like Logan, if he wanted to play a game, I wouldn't tell him to start the first game first. I wouldn't say to him, you need to play that to get the new game. I think you could jump in on Doom Eternal and have a lot of fun with it. So perfect sequel, perfect jump on point. And to that, I'd say get it. It's a fucking perfect game. I'm having second doubts about selling it because I do want to keep it. It's just a financial situation at the minute for me. But other than that, it's a fucking fantastic game, and I urge people to play it.
Excellent. What's its official grading then?
So, official grading, I will give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for Doom Eternal 2020.
2020. It's a fucking close to... I think if we were doing 0.5 still, or...
We still are.
Are we still are? Is it just the films or not?
Yeah, no, we're doing it. 0.5s are everywhere.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, maybe 9.5 then.
Yeah?
Yeah, 9.5. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I don't know why. I forgot we were doing that.
No. It's there across, I think, even the little film group, they've all been 0.5s.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's because IGN did it. They went backwards, didn't they? And they did the points, and now they do the... So
they only do solid scores now?
They just do solid scores now, yeah.
Nah. It's not how it operates here at Idle Game Chat.
Right, so no, I will take that as a 9.5 because I think that lore thing is literally the only... That and maybe a missed opportunity in the story, like I said, but that's the only fault I can think of this game. There's nothing else that annoyed me in this game. No. If the game was too hard, like I say, that back half, if that was unbearably couldn't get out of it, but I think it's more to your own fault, a bit like Bloodborne, like a lot of those times when you're playing it, it's not.
That's what all the elitists say. It's your own fault.
It's your own fault. That game is forgivingly hard, but a lot of times when you die, you go, "Well, I could have done something there. That is my fault."
Stop myself.
So I think. I can't, other than that, I can't fault it. And, that isn't the world's end thing, you've got to go and find your lore rather than having it put on your plate. That's not the biggest fault, is it really? So, it's almost a near perfect game for me. With currently what's out this year, it's currently my game of the year. Could it be the game of the year if nothing else fucking comes out this year?
Yeah, it will be for quite default. But it's a good strong contender then.
It's
for
a
Doom.
big strong contender. It's a fucking incredible game. The best first person I've played in a long while. Probably,
Beautiful.
It beats. I thought Titanfall 2 was an incredible first person campaign. Yeah. And this has beaten it. I think this is a much stronger game. Much stronger game indeed. Yeah. 9.5. I'm sticking with that.
9.5 for Doom Eternal. If you're interested in your first-person shooters and you like your campaigns, I mean, it goes without saying that's just the campaign alone. There is a multiplayer mode there and whatnot. So those that I'm not going to say that's going to break the bank because
it sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting. Yeah, it's like asymmetric, isn't it? It's 2v1.
2v1 demons. Yeah, 2 play demons, 1 plays the Doomslayer, and you can you actually play as the demons, which would be interesting. Play as the zombie and shit. But multiplayer is not really my cup of tea, and I may give it down the line,
but worth the money just for the campaign.
Yeah, just the campaign. That's say. The only things like I say, if you're getting it and you're not into collectibles, and it's like I say 10, 12 hours long, Some people might query that full price, probably Biff, but
well, there's 6 hours that people are getting annoyed at now because of Resi 3. So I think 12 hours people will be happy with that.
Yeah. But like you said, it's the quality of those hours, and I've got to say, if I'm getting a 9.5 of quality for 12 hours, that's worth my $40.
If it was £100, would your opinion change? We'll save that for another podcast. But, that's it. Doom Eternal 9.5. First review of a 2020 title here at Idle Game Chat via the Dimp Digital Network. So, Mr. Adkins, thanks for joining me and thanks for getting Rodney on. It sounds like he's going to be a great addition to the team.
Rodney's a new founding member.
Yeah,
he's always been here quietly.
Yeah, now he's coming out of his box a little bit, so it's always great to meet new people and have them part of the team. But everyone else, thanks for your time, and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.